Wysteria, energy, twister.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So, this one's called A Letter from Santa Claus by Mark Twain. My dear Susie Clemens, I have received and read all the letters which you and your little sister have written to me by the hand of your mother and your nurses. I have also read those which you little people have written me with your own hands. For although you did not use any characters that are in grown people's alphabet, you use the characters that all children in all lands on earth and in the twinkling stars use. And as all my subjects in the moon are children, and use no character but that, you will easily understand that I can read your and your baby sister's jagged and fantastic marks without any trouble at all. But I had trouble with those letters which you dictated through your mother and the nurses, for I am a foreigner and cannot read English writing very well. You will find that I made no mistakes about the things which you and your baby ordered in your own letters. I went down your chimney at midnight when you were asleep and delivered them all myself, and kissed both of you too, because you're good children, well trained, nice mannered, and about the most obedient little people I ever saw. But in the letter which you dictated, there were some words which I could not make out for certain, and one or two small orders which I could not fill because we ran out of stock. Our last lot of kitchen furniture for dolls had just gone to the very poor little child in the North Star way up in the cold country above the Big Dipper. Your mamma can show you that star, and you can say Little Snowflake, for that is the child's name. I'm glad you got that furniture, for you need it more than I. That is, you must write that with your own hand, and Snowflake will write you an answer. If you only spoke it, she wouldn't hear you. Make your letter light and thin, for the distance is great and the postage very heavy. There was a word or two in your mamma's letter which I couldn't be certain of. I took it to be a trunk full of doll's clothes. Is that it? I will call at your kitchen door about 9 o'clock this morning to inquire, but I must not see anybody, and I must not speak to anybody but you. When the kitchen doorbell rings, George must be blindfolded and sent to open the door. Then he must go back to the dining room or the china closet and take the cook with him. You must tell George he must walk on tiptoe and not speak, otherwise he will die some day. Then you must go up to the nursery and stand on a chair or the nurse's bed, and put your car to the speaking tube that leads down the kitchen, and when I whistle through it, you must speak into the tube and say, "Welcome, Santa Claus." Then I will ask whether it was a trunk you ordered or not. If you say it was, I shall ask you what colour you want the trunk to be. Your mamma will help you to name a nice colour. Then you must tell me every single thing in detail which you want the trunk to contain. Then, when I say goodbye and a Merry Christmas to my little Susie Clemens, you must say goodbye, good old Santa Claus, and thank you very much, and please tell that little snowflake I will look at her star tonight, and she must look down here. I will be right in the west bay window, and every fine night I will look at her star and say, I know somebody up there, and like her too. Then you must go down into the library, make George close all the doors that open in the main hall, and everybody must keep still for a little while. I will go to the moon and get those things in a few minutes, and I will come down the chimney that belongs to the fireplace that is in the hall. If it is a trunk you want, because I couldn't get such a thing as a trunk down the nursery chimney, you know. People may talk if they want until they hear my footsteps in the hall. Then you tell them to keep quiet a little while till I go back up the chimney. Maybe you will not hear my footsteps at all, so you may go now and then and peep through the dining room doors and by you will see that thing which you want, right under the piano in the drawing room, for I shall put it there. If I should leave any snow in the hall, you must tell George to sweep it into the fireplace, for I haven't had time to do such things. George must not use a broom, but a rag. Elsie will die some day. You must watch George, and not let him run into danger. If my boot should leave a stain on the marble, George must not wholly stone it away. Leave it there always in memory of my visit. And whenever you look at it or show it to somebody, you must let it remind you to be a good little girl. Whenever you are naughty and somebody points to that mark with your good old Santa Claus's boots made on the marble, what will you say, little sweetheart? Goodbye for a few minutes, till I come down to the world and ring the kitchen doorbell. Your loving Santa Claus, whom people sometimes call the man in the moon. And that's the end of that Christmas tale. It's very interesting indeed. Very, very different. It's not one that I've heard anyway. It's the first time that I've heard that. Yeah, interesting. What did you think of that? Let me know in the comments. I really want to know what you think. Thank you for listening, and many blessings.
Wysteria. Energy. Twister.